Welcome to another episode, everyone. Fourleaf from rolling 40's Crip. Zip-tied his victims, robbed his homeboy's father, amongst a bunch of other things. Now, I do know of Fourleaf. I have done a little time with him. I've never gotten into it. Never got into the story about this Munchie B stuff, whether or not he played with Munchie B's backside with peanut butter. The answer is no, by the way. I do know that. Maybe I'll do a story on that about what really went down. I've just been trying to stay out of that whole thing. But Munchie B stayed down, bro, the entire time. And there were some individuals there in the Los Angeles County Jail that did indeed have peanut butter stuck between their ass cheeks by individuals in the Los Angeles County Jail. Freaky behavior. And indeed, Fourleaf was involved in some of this nonsense, bro, if I'm keeping it real. But I'll get into it. But for now, let's get into this and see what went on with Fourleaf in his damn life.
Rap News Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, and we back in them West Side 40s, but we gonna talk about somebody whose name is really ringing bells right now behind the walls. Andre McClellan, aka Fourleaf. Now I know a lot of y'all that heard a lot of situations about Fourleaf from other channels that have shared his situations that he's encountered in the county jail. Now we gonna speak on the situations that's transpired that ended him up in the county jail and currently in High Desert right now. Now the 40s have been real hot right now, man, especially with 4 Extra, X4, C-Star, Munchie B. We seen this coming a long time ago with the 40s, with being the most spoke on hood right now in LA, which is why last year we did pose the question on if the 40s was running LA right now in terms of their presentation to the masses, man. And I think that was a good argument to have, especially being that LAPD still considers these dudes one of the top 10 gangs in the whole city that they target, and that's a fact. But lately, things have kind of shifted between some of their homies, especially X4 and 4 Extra, and now we have Spody Face involved in this as well. So it seemed like some lowball betrayal has been happening. But this is not the first time we spoke on something like this with the 40s, going back to when we spoke on 4 Extra being shot by one of his homies from 40s. And when we spoke on S-Bone being shot by one of his other homies from 40s. But now we talking about Fourleaf and his situation that he's had with other members from 40s, as well as his work that he's put in that's ended him up in the situation that he's in right now.
In there, if you was somebody, if you was a powerhouse, Fourleaf needed you, he wanted you in that module. Fourleaf is a chess player, you feel me? And he's active. Big old sized up light skinned nigga, y'all see pictures of him. And he play. So yeah, he had 4,700. And everything that came through there, you feel me? Every red rag that came through there, every blood that came through there, he was doing them bad. Him.
So like I said, Andre McClellan, a well-known member, especially right now to the internet and to this Lamar Park section. This dude is 36 right now, but we got to rewind the clock to when he was 21, back in his hood. So back in October 2010, Fourleaf had got out of jail on a grand theft not too long before this time, and he was still a young member. And he had a homie by the name of Christopher Salico, whose pops was also Christopher Salico and owned a dry cleaning business on King called Jimmy's Dry Cleaning in the middle of 40's hood. Now, it's said that the elder Salico used to try to game up other members from 40's, trying to get them out the streets, point them in a better direction. But Salico had made a statement to the police saying that pretty much Fourleaf was a lost cause since he got out of jail recently. He couldn't speak the positivity in the Fourleaf. He couldn't tell him to leave the hood alone. And he also couldn't tell him to get away from his son, the younger Salico, who was also an admitted member from Rolling 40's. On October 27, 2010, Fourleaf and another member from 40's named Touche, Leandre Hebert, had popped into the dry cleaning business and got down on Christopher Salico trying to rob him. Now, like I said, this dry cleaning business is owned by the father of another dude from 40's. And the father knows Touche and Fourleaf. These niggas still robbed this dude. He was shot. It said that Touche flashed a pistol and made this dude come up off it in the dry cleaning spot. Now, of course, after these dudes dip out, he tries to call his son, Fourleaf and Touche homie, who's also from 40's, but he couldn't reach him, so he ended up just calling the police. And it was very easy for this dude to identify both Fourleaf and Touche, being that these was dudes around the neighborhood that he would talk to all the time and try to give game to. So it was kind of odd that these dudes would rob kind of like a hood business, a hood store. But it was kind of clear that they really wasn't feeling Silico's son, and they felt like Silico spent too much time trying to convince homies to lead a set and not participate. So not too long after the situation, police arrest Fourleaf on October 29th and arrest Touche November 2nd, 2010. Now, after these dudes went down for the situation, it comes out that Touche was actually a state's witness against his own homie from 40's on a murder that happened in 2009, just a year before the situation. And Touche tried to use this to get the gang enhancement dropped from him, saying that he wasn't even an active member. And it seems like Fourleaf knew that Touche was a snitch as well, because he also tried to use that to prove that since Touche wasn't an active member of the 40's and stayed in the Fire Tray Avalons, and the business was owned by the father of a dude from 40's, that this robbery wasn't done for the betterment and the enhancement of the gang. So they...
That doesn't necessarily mean that Fourleaf knew that the dude was a state's witness, that Touche was a snitch. It could just be that since he ended up playing it once they got locked up, then Fourleaf said, well, I'm going to play the same thing, man. Since this has been exposed and he is a snitch, and therefore it wasn't done for the enhancement of the gang, whatever the crime is, then if it wasn't done for the enhancement by the gang by him, it wasn't done for the betterment of the gang by myself either. So just let me ride that with him and get out of the gang enhancement. Because the gang enhancement is that you committed a crime for in the advancement of your hood, for the advancement of your hood, for the betterment of your hood. This crime that you committed is going to help your hood some way. You robbed a store for some guns. You rob someone for some drugs and pass it out to your homies so they can start selling drugs over there. Whatever you're helping your hood with this crime, then they tie the two together and say, this is a gang enhancement. This is how they give you the gang enhancement. If you're a known member, a documented member from this hood, and the crime is helping to better the hood as far as the authorities are concerned, then they're going to hit you with the gang enhancement. So this is how this individual was trying to get out of the gang enhancement, Touche, by saying, I'm not even a gang member. And it couldn't have been for the betterment of the gang because I'm not even a part of the gang. I'm a snitch. Shakes.
Tried to both use this card of Touche being a witness to get the gang enhancement charges dropped. But it didn't work, man. Touche was also named in the 40 injunction a year prior to him being a witness in 2008, where he was a documented active member from 40's, along with dudes like Baby KS and Doty. Not Doty 6, another one of the Dotys. But a lot of people was named in that injunction. Touche was one of them, so he couldn't dodge his gang enhancement. But I don't know what was going on at this time to where Touche was kind of excused. It seems like by Fourleaf and other dudes from 40's in that situation where he took the stand on his homie. But then they turn around and rob one of their homies' people's businesses.
What happened? Crip, dark side Crip, and
what I
everything.
just
We
said,
kill everything over here.
You gotta
we kill everything in the dark.
even smokers and stragglers.
School, school, school.
So this is what we're talking about when we talk about the situation between 4 Extra and X4. Every hood got these internal beefs.
Well, ain't no glory and nothing to be smiling and praising that you kill stragglers and smokers. You kill everybody. How about getting a damn job? Stop hanging out, drinking and smoking, talking about who the fuck you kill all day. That don't make you tough. Just because you kill someone doesn't mean you're a killer.
and internal conflicts in them. Not just the 40's, but with the 40's having one of the biggest names right now. As of today, these dudes is on the tip of everybody's tongue. These internal conflicts are being magnified. But this is what happens when you blow up this fast. The 40's to the entertainment world are blowing up extremely fast. In the last couple years, they got a lot of shit coming out their section. And rightfully so, a lot of these dudes are presentable to the masses. 4Extra's like the new C-Mac to the internet. They love that dude. X4 was going crazy. Spody Face, Hoodie Hood. Backstreet Baby probably had the hardest song I heard since that Not a Regular Crab by Tunchi.
If I see Jack, I'm spazzing out. When I see P4, I'm crashing out. Mad North lacking, gas him out. I'm from the gang where we not giving passes out. Slid on the stains, I'm hunting in the snoopers, trying to blow a trap brain. I got a 50 and 100 to let you know it's not a game. I kill smokers, we are not the same. I do what I want.
Coming out the city, as well as some of X4 shit. But again, even Fourleaf, top members are involved in internal conflicts in this section. Now, Touche was on probation at this time of the robbery for vandalism or some bullshit like that. And since he couldn't shake that gang enhancement and he was the one that flashed the pistol, he got hit with 23 years straight. He been down since 2010 and he ain't seen a light of day since. He had 3 years for the robbery, 10-year gang enhancement, 10-year gun enhancement. He was also 21 at the time. He 36 now. Like I said, he never got a chance to see the light of day, and he was denied parole in 2024. But he's seemingly on the last leg of his bid, and he probably gonna be coming home soon, man. He's currently in Wasco right now. But Fourleaf, on the other hand, he originally got sentenced in 2011 to 21 years. But he seemingly was able to beat the gun enhancement since Touche was the one that had the pistol. He wasn't able to dodge the gang enhancement, but he ended up only serving 6 years from 2010 and got out March 2017. But when he got out with 2 strikes. And this how we end up on August 6th, 2017. Just 5 months after he was released from that situation he had with Touche. He meets a dude named Michael Coleman out of Redondo Beach with one of his homies. Now he ended up striking a deal with Michael Coleman for 50 pounds of weed. He tell Coleman that 2 of his homies want to buy the weed. You know, they probably worked a little middleman deal out. But Coleman said, all right, come with 70 racks. And Coleman must have really trusted this dude because he called Fourleaf and said he had that. And Fourleaf said him and his people was on their way. So when they got to Coleman's spot from Redondo Beach, and we will say, Fourleaf did not implicate nobody in this case, man. He didn't tell on nobody, he stayed solid. But he pulled up in the S550 and 2 dudes, John Doe 1 and 2 and a female, pulled up in a white Denali. So Fourleaf and the 2 dudes ended up going into Coleman's apartment with the plug in there, a dude named George Manna. And it said that Fourleaf and Coleman bought the trash bags out the back with the work. And at this point, the 2 dudes that came with Fourleaf pulled out and Coleman tried to run. They bust a shot in the apartment and end up gaffling Coleman up. Now, George Manna said he saw Fourleaf pull a gun out. Coleman, he's already on the floor. He said he ain't see Fourleaf with a gun. And he said when the dudes pulled out, Fourleaf sounded surprised. But George Manna wasn't going for it. He said he seen Fourleaf pull a gun out. But nonetheless, they ended up zip tying both of these dudes. And you know, he ended up catching 1st-degree burglary for this, but he's lucky he didn't get that false imprisonment. You know, that false imprisonment and that next level of that kidnapping, that shit come with that elbow, man. You know, with them zip ties, that shit's a very dangerous game. But either way, man, like I said, they ended up zip tying these dudes up and getting off with the P's. But in actuality, they didn't even have to tie these dudes up. It said that Coleman had a fake shotgun. He got out the zip ties when they ran out the house and tried to come outside with the fake shotgun. But when he get outside, he didn't see these dudes, so he looked at the parking spot where Fourleaf pulled up. He said they arguing over the P's outside. And Fourleaf looked up and see Coleman got out his restraints and he got on. But shit was all bad for Fourleaf again, man. He left his cell phone and his wallet on the coffee table inside of Coleman's house. So this is how shit has went left for Fourleaf, and this is why everybody's heard so much about these county jail stories. Since 2010, he's only been out for 5 months. Pretty much his whole adult life has been in jail.
I didn't do that to your home. would know. I would let you know how I show. Yeah, I'm positive. I'm positive, bro. Yeah, we would go everywhere now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to know.
But this situation right here is what landed him his third strike.
And that's the LA County Jail for you. You know, this dude right here, I don't know who he is, the other dude that Fourleaf just attacked. He may be a non-affiliate or something. Looked like he was asking him something. And dude was saying, I didn't do nothing to your homie or whatever. And Fourleaf just got him down and kicked on him, stumped him out basically.
Like I said, he already had 2. This was his third one. They ended up getting him 26 years to life. 25 for the 3 striker, plus 1 for the gang enhancement, man. And like I said, he's currently in high desert right now, not eligible for parole till 2035. But something else we seen from him since he was behind them walls was a lawsuit against them jailhouse deputies, man. And this is just crazy because we've heard so much about his jail stories, his fights, the modules that he's running, just everything that's going on. And he ended up filing a lawsuit for $450,000 against LA County for a violation of his civil rights in this motherfucker. So like I said, he did that move on August 6th, 2017. He ended up getting gaffled up August 24th, 2017 and hitting the county again. Now with him spending so much time on that last stint in the county, a lot of people was for sure waiting for him to come back, man. And it was clearly the deputies and the Bloods waiting to get up on this dude when he got up in there. So it said that like a year later, after he went back in, between August 28th and August 29th, 2018, the deputies came up to him while he was in 4700 and ordered him to exit his cell because one of his homies had some food that they wanted to share with him. He said he was the only one to come out. And at that point, they took him over to 4800 where they said they had a cell open for him and the cell was completely blacked out, all dark. They had ordered the lights to be turned off in that motherfucker. So when he get in the cell, he said it's 2 Bloods in the cell with weapons. Man, these dudes produced their weapons on him, ended up poking and whooping on him. And this is what's alleged in the lawsuit. And they were seemingly trying to take Fourleaf out. And I would say if they had killed him, we wouldn't even be hearing about this situation. They would have cleaned that shit all the way up. Because it said that when them dudes finished whooping on him, they was giving them extra food and just some extra love and shit for setting Fourleaf up. Now, I believe he was able to win this case, man, and was able to take home that whole $450,000. But, you know, he got a long road home, man. Hopefully he can make it home and be able to enjoy that shit. Because clearly when he got out the first time for that 5 months, he had to set that move up because he's trying to get back on his feet. This 450 will definitely have him on his feet. So hopefully if he make it out, he ain't got to crash out again. You know what I'm saying? But another thing that he's definitely known for is the situation that he allegedly had with Munchie B. Now, Munchie B was in the county at the same time with Fourleaf. Now, I believe at this time he was in there for a grand theft, which is the charge I believe he ended up going to prison over. But in 2010, Munchie had went down June 9th. And like I said, October, Fourleaf and Touche was up in there. But that whole shit with the peanut butter, man, we never gonna hear the true story about that. Unless somebody, a grown man, sits on here and gives a description on what Munchie B ass looked like. And then somebody else produces an image of Munchie B's ass and niggas want to sit here and connect the dots on this man's ass. We ain't never gonna know the fucking truth behind the peanut butter situation between Fourleaf or the 60s and Munchie B. That's something that's gonna go on forever. We'd heard everybody talk about it, and it's just time to leave it alone. It don't matter if you say you was there. It don't matter if you say you was the one that did it. At this point, nobody gonna believe it. So I think that's a situation that can be deaded, man. I'm gonna keep it 100. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. I wasn't there. But
first of all, like I said before, even if something like that did happen to anyone at any time, and it has happened to individuals, but it's still not on the person that it happened to. It doesn't mean that the person that happened to is gay or did something wrong. If he got knocked out And that happens. Mike Tyson got knocked out. If the individual got knocked out, once he's unconscious, you can't control what happens to you after that, unfortunately. And that's how it goes in prison, in the county jail. These dudes try to get you unconscious, knock you out with a weapon or with their fist. And of course, sleep is the cousin of death. Once you are knocked out and unconscious, you can't defend yourself. It's impossible. So that's oftentimes when some of these predatory acts take place with these freakazoids. Knock someone out and then play with their backside in some way, in some fashion. They've used shower shoes, wet the shower shoes, throw water on another man's ass cheeks so they sting or hurt or something. Whoop them with the shower shoe. Stick foreign objects. All sorts of stuff been going on in that county jail in particular for decades. But it happens when individuals, again, are knocked out and not much that they can do about it because they're knocked out. So it's not necessarily a knock, as far as I'm concerned, on the person that it happens to. It's more of a knock on the person that did it. What is a grown man doing, pulling down another grown man's pants and assaulting him in that way? And it is assault. Just because it happens to another man, it's SA. It's what it is. And I don't condone SA in any form coming from anyone.
Munchie B, his situations with the 40's are truly personal. We done seen how he spoke on 4 Extra. We see the situation currently with him and C-Star. We hear about the alleged situation with him and Fourleaf. Munchie B's situation with the 40's is deeper than a lot of us knows, man, or what everybody's paying attention to.
Or I'm just gonna focus on the 40's. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on the 40's. I'm gonna just go from Crenshaw to Fig up and down Vernon. I'm gonna just get the bothering everybody, right? And shake this shit up. And to somebody smart or older from 40's, tell this little crystal meth head in the cell, get off the phone, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll wake shit up. I don't think Fourleaf won't you talking crazy, and he got all this time, and he'll get brought to the yard, to the Crip table to get politicked on, because, you know, he not squeaky clean. We get to talking about all this shit with Officer Garmy, you know what I'm saying, back in 2018. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is give me some content.
You know, some may have a recency bias and think that it's just 4 Extra in this whole shit, but we have to rewind the clock back to Red Bull and the Stink Team. Now, Red Bull was killed by a dude from 40's named Arlington Blue, or AB. Jaden Boyd, who was also a member of the Stink Team, as well as a second gunman who was from the Hunnids. But nonetheless, the 40's was involved in that. And Arlington Blue also tried to put the shooting of a dude named Seven Flame on the Stink Team as well. I think that claim was debunked by the dudes that he was trying to implicate in that situation. But nonetheless, it's a lot of history between the families and the 40's. And there's also Spody Face. Not the Spody Face everybody know about that's alive right now, but in jail. I'm talking about Jeremiah Shaw. He was also a top member from 40 Crip. Now, we heard C-Star speak on it recently where he said that when Spody Face was killed, the Inglewood families had said that they won the summer.
The day my brother died, nigga, Cub posted, nigga, the Inglewood families won this summer. 410 in the world was sending me that, so now I'm on all you dumbass niggas, nigga, y'all have been trolling me since that happened, nigga, with the all you next, nigga, we gonna do, nigga, niggas ain't did nothing to me, nigga, on the Crip, but
they said it was up. Everybody knew Spody Face was a top member. He was killed August 13th, 2016. But his situation, he was up at that Roscoe's that used to be on Pico. He was off Pico and Orange. Now that's in the Mansfield's hood, gangsta Crips. But everybody know anybody can be at Roscoe's. We seen what happened to P&B Rock at Roscoe's. Now we know that P&B Rock situation happened in the 8-7s, but all Roscoe's draw attention. Nothing new. So it could have been some dudes from families up there, and it said that an altercation broke out and Spody Face ended up getting shot in the head on Pico. And
that's certainly true. A lot of, they have certain spots in LA, man, where you don't want to get caught at. It's a lot of gang violence in these spots. They're known spots, eating places, burger places, waffle places, chicken and waffles, certain ones Well, I don't care who you are, where you from. You just don't want to be in the area. Because these dudes, they enter into these eating places often to get something to eat, or they're just looking for a victim. They're looking for trouble. So you have to be careful when you're in LA. Don't listen to this stuff that these dudes are saying on the internet, Charleston White and others, about how soft California is in LA. You listen to that, digest it, absorb that nonsense, and believe that you can come out here doing anything that you want and find yourself in a world of trouble.
Orange. Now it said whoever he was with seemingly panicked. They drove all the way from Midtown back to their hood, where police found Spody Face in a Chrysler by 43rd and 6th Ave. And that's where they took him to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, like I said, Spody Face was another top member from 40's. We even seen another dude named Tyrone Foster from 40's. He had shot up that barbershop on 55th and Vermont, where the Hoovers and the Troubles be at. He ended up killing somebody up there, and when he went on trial, Spody Face had already died, and he tried to pin the murder on Spody Face. Now, we spoke on that a couple times, whether y'all think that's snitching or not, trying to pin a murder on the dead homie. But that's what he tried to do with Spody Face's name. He said that Spody Face was known to carry that 4.5 and that he admitted to him that he did the murder to try to beat his murder. But nonetheless, Spody Face was a big name over there, and C-Star is alluding to the Inglewood families taking credit for that. And then we have the vendetta between Munchie B and the Stink Team again, where he said he kicked Draco while he was down. Now, hey, that's some crazy shit, Munchie. I think that Brown got to stay out of niggas' cups when they on this podcast and YouTube shit. You got to put that liquor down. That's some crazy ass statements. Ain't no way you talking about you kick somebody while the nigga was murdered. That's crazy. Hey, we not gonna look.
On record, disrespecting my homie, rest in peace. He can't talk back, but you disrespecting him. You know what I'm saying?
Long live Red Bull, man.
Long live Red Bull. So, and when he passed, I kicked him while he was down, literally. You know what I'm saying? And took shots at him. And now how his people feel, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I hope that was a figure of speech. But like I said, I think it's a lot of animosity that Munchie B specifically has for the 40's with all of these dudes that we seeing. So I think even in that situation where Brick was entertaining him, maybe Brick didn't pay attention to the situations that Munchie B was having with the 40's to even have an interview with Munchie B like that. But it still remains, man. What we seeing with the 40's right now with this Betrayal, Expo on some nasty shit, I'm not gonna lie, man. With LLC and Off the Back, what he said recently in the interview, talking about he wants to check, run the streams up, to take the homie money, or at least attempt to, or at least have the thought that you want to gank the homie bread like that.
I'm the CEO Off the Back now too, cuz I got some Off the Back merch.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
That's me.
I feel like that's one of the songs right now that's going crazy viral and shit like.
Oh yeah, let it go super viral, cuz I want a big check.
Yeah. But that song's going crazy right now. Cheeseburger plays it in here on a regular.
Oh, you play it? Yeah, run the streams up.
Yeah, he plays it in here. Yeah, he plays it in here.
Off the bat, yeah.
So I seen you posted something like you got the trademark or something like that.
Yeah, I'm the CEO.
Yeah. So how does that work with everything that you're going on with that song and branding, and why did you do it to that song as opposed to the other ones that you just let go by? Why that song? Why that term?
Off the back. I just like that. Off the back.
Yeah.
It's just a catch. I was just thinking about it. I was just thinking about it. I heard the song after I already did the shit. I didn't even hear the song.
Yeah.
I just got off the back, and then damn, they swear oh, it's a song I caught off the back. And then I heard it. I'm like, oh damn, coincidence.
Yeah.
That shit crazy, man. So I'm not gonna speak on the Expo and 4Extra situation because I feel like a lot has to develop before motherfuckers can really speak on that. You know what I'm saying? Now Expo is playing some dirty games, but I think we.
Yeah, that is crazy how X4 ends up, copywriting Off the Back. All these dudes, they all were close, they end up falling out, bro. Scamming on each other, scheming on each other after they fall out, saying stuff about one another on the internet. knocking each other down, disparaging and denigrating one another. You see the individual, Touche, allegedly, was already working with the authorities, out here committing crimes, committing robberies, gang banging tough, taking all these pictures, posing. The whole time you's a cupcake. You out here snitching. No loyalty, bro. Don't sign up for this shit.
Gotta wait till 4 Extra come out, which he probably not even gonna speak on for real, but some more has to develop in that situation for us to really see what's up between them two, man. But y'all let us know what y'all think is about to transpire between them two in the comments, man. Are they gonna...
Who knows? Well, that video was some time ago right there, so I guess they've been okay since then. Somewhat 4 Extra and X4. But okay, so there you have it with Fourleaf, man. Life in prison. Caught his 3rd strike. He indeed was known for some of his county jail stuff, squabbling and getting involved in certain things in a county jail, putting in work or whatever, some of the videos you saw there. Some considered him a bully, you know. And when he got to prison, actually, you know, he was involved in a couple of incidents when he first got to prison. I know this for a fact. You know what I'm saying? I know what happened. But as I said, I don't speak on everything. But anyway, all right, there you have it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Fourleaf, young dude at the time when he really started on this stuff, you know, went down a certain path. Apparently ended up getting life in prison, zip tying people, robbing his homeboy's father, until he ended up catching his 3rd strike. You know, and I guess apparently won the settlement for nearly $500,000. It's not the life. It's not the life for anyone. Money does you no good in prison. The hell with that shit. Stay safe and stay free, people.